uno, venga.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, live 18:30 at Corte Inglés Castellana, Ryan Sanders will be signing his very own book. Ryan, tell us a bit about your book, Trailblazer in English, Abriendo Camino in Spanish.
Yes, Abriendo Camino is my book. It's my life story and how I got into running. Obviously, it was quite unexpected, and it's been a crazy journey. And yeah, I've been able to travel the world, and I've tried to put my experiences down to paper and hopefully inspire other people to go out and live their dreams and just make the most of life.
I had the chance to read it and it did inspire me, so I do recommend you taking a chance. It's a wild story, to be honest.
It's really rewarding at the end when you got the finished product.
Well, thanks God you did have a pacer also, like because somebody was working with you.
Yes, it was Steve Smith, and it was really helped me a lot. I'm not so good at writing, so I just spoke lots and lots and lots, and then he put it all down to paper.
All right. So for those of you who are not that familiar with Ryan, let us sum up some of your career highs. First of all, how was it, being raised up in the South African apartheid last days? Because that was in itself quite an adventure.
Yeah, for sure. I think like growing up in South Africa, generally like my early childhood years were probably really protected because of the apartheid days, and then a lot of things changed when I was about 8 or 9 years old, obviously for the better, and it's been a really exciting kind of 15, 20 years post apartheid, and there are a lot of changes, but it's been interesting, and I think it's kind of really opened my kind of visions and horizons, and I'd like to think made me a better person.
Well, in fact, it wasn't that easy for him, because even though a South African, he was for English ancestors, which in the Afrikaans country is not that easy, was it?
No, it was a little bit tricky, but I'm from down in Cape Town, so generally it's a lot more English. But I did go to an Afrikaans school for 2 years, which is kind of like a Dutch school, and that was really tricky, very kind of a bit of a culture shock for me. But again, I think it made me a better person.
Do you still keep your Afrikaans fluent?
No, not really. I'm good at. I can understand it really well, but speaking it, I'm not so good.
It's not that common to practice it all over the world.
No, only when on the way here I was in Amsterdam for a couple of hours, so at least then I can kind of understand and be able to speak a little bit.
Well, and of course, being a South African, one of your first sports, love in sports was rugby, right?
Yeah, I grew up dreaming of wanting to be a Springbok, which is our kind of national team.
With that frame?
I was a little.
That was about willpower.
Yeah, I did. I spent a lot of time in gym and tried to eat lots and lots and lots, but I just couldn't get any bigger. So yeah, I think at university I realized that dream was over, because all the big guys would just run over me and just flatten me into the ground all the time.
Okay, but at some point, running came into your life. Could you let know our fans how that came along?
Yeah, basically I entered a marathon last year at university, and it was more of an excuse. It was an out-of-town marathon, which always had like a really big party and festival around it, and I used to go there a lot, but I used to go there and just drink beers, and then I thought I was finishing university, I must be a little bit more professional now and a little bit more responsible. So I decided I wanted to enter the half marathon, but because all my friends are running the half marathon, but the entries are full, so I thought, what the heck, let me run the full marathon. And I entered it, I think I only had 4 or 5 weeks of training, and didn't really train too much, but I ran it and everyone thought I wouldn't finish, and it was a big joke. And I wasn't too sure either, but to my surprise I finished it and really, really enjoyed it. And just that achievement of actually going out and saying you're going to do something and going out and achieving it was really rewarding and fulfilling. And after that, one thing led to another. I did a couple of other races, and I live in Cape Town on the slopes of Table Mountain, so before I knew it, I was running in the mountains there and discovered the trails, and started spending less time partying and more time in the mountains and on the trails.
Well, definitely you must have some good genetic material, because that very first wild marathon for what was a party animal, with no training, and just registering for the marathon because they were out of entries for the half marathon, and you did 3 hours 28. And that was outstanding.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I remember I think I was quite young, and I remember trying to follow the first lady. She was quite pretty, and I was trying to run.
What's it?
I was trying to run behind her, and then eventually it was quite a hilly marathon, and then some of the big climbs towards the end, my legs started cramping, so I couldn't keep up. So she ran off, and
But to be honest, if you were such a party animal, did you follow the first lady because you knew she was a great athlete, or because she was wearing wonderful red shorts?
No, she had really nice shorts, and
It's in the book. It's in the book. I swear. He confessed to it. All right. So eventually, what happened to bring you into ultra trail? So far, it sounds quite logical, for a popular runner. But something went wrong.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, I've always been all or nothing. If I party, I want to be the last man standing at the bar. And I started working for a big property development company when I left university, and at the same time got involved in trail running. But I think I felt a bit kind of claustrophobic, kind of working a 9 to 5, and I think I wanted to still travel and see the world more and do more, and so I decided to enter the Gobi Desert Race. I didn't actually even know where the Gobi Desert was, to be honest. For me, it just seemed like this crazy adventure, and I entered it and swiped my credit card, and then I suddenly realized, okay, now you actually got to start doing some training, and going from running a 30-kilometer trail race to a 250 ultra was a massive challenge, and something I didn't quite comprehend at the time. But yeah, I got there, and obviously one thing led to another, and it's been a complete life-changing experience.
Oh, definitely. He beat Dean Carnasses, which was quite a solidly established name in ultra trail. How did Dean take it that a newcomer coming out of nowhere suddenly is in front and is beating him? I mean, it must have been tough for him.
Yeah, I think Dean's someone that I've always looked up to. I think he gave me a lot of advice during the Gobi Desert Race and the Sahara Desert Race, and I think one of the really important things he told me was that winning races doesn't get you sponsors, because for me, I went there, I was unsponsored. Even during my next race, Sahara Race, I didn't really have too many sponsors, and obviously Dean Carnasses being a huge name and sponsored by some really big brands, I tried to pick his brain and see how he had established his career, and he definitely helped me a lot. So as I say, I owe a lot to him, what happened in my career, and he taught me a lot. But yeah, it was interesting. I think a lot of the kind of older, more established runners thought that I was a bit crazy going so fast the first few stages, but again, for me, it was just kind of taking one stage at a time. If I crashed and burnt after 2 stages, at least I'd won 2 stages. It was better than nothing. So I think it helped being young and naive and not really knowing what to expect.
Yeah, and then he went on to take the 4 Deserts title, running the 4 Deserts and winning them all. Fast forward to 2011. Here we are. In fact, I had the opportunity. I was invited by Greg Boyette and the Salomon team to the Salomon Advanced Week. I had which was in Font Romeo.
Yes.
And here we were, I think it was May, June, and there were a bunch of guys that were ready to take over the world. The thing had not yet happened, but if I remember correctly, Kilian was going back to Western.
Yes.
Then Julian Cherier was going to Hard Rock.
Yes.
And you were going to Leadville.
Leadville, yes.
And something really worked there, because the 3 of you guys achieved your targets, which were as ambitious as one can think of.
Yes.
How was that feeling of team, when going into Salomon? Did it help? Was it a shock? How did? Because I've talked with Greg several times on this, and it's something that is very important for him, but he's also extremely competitive. So how do you blend these things in?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps. I think especially the team environment and just creating a happy atmosphere, and obviously that year everything went right, and I went and paced Julian at Hard Rock, and to see him win Hard Rock, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence, and to see how he approached the race, and even pacing him, and seeing how he went during the race, I think I took a lot out of that. And then went to Leadville, and even had like Anna Frost pacing me, who really helped me kind of do the best I could during the race, and end up winning the race. So I think it was a great team environment, and something that was really important. And I think Greg was really instrumental in creating that, and kind of having the foresight to realize that cool, running 100 miles or any trail race is an individual sport, but I think if you've got a strong team and environment, it can really help. And like you said, everyone's competitive, and I think it pushes the level up. But at the same time, I think I've started to notice that like people they're competitive, but it's like if you go on a training run, it's not about like wanting to run in front of Killian or in front of Francois. It's just about kind of being there and all kind of learning from each other. I don't think it's like an internal race in kind of the whole Salomon setup.
Okay, let's go back to Leadville. And well, I've had the chance to finish Leadville myself. I was the first Spaniard to do so back in 2010, 1 year before you did. But of course, you took like 16 hours, I took like 28 hours. But still, I remember a particular segment, which was the climb back of Hope Pass.
Yes.
I think that's one of the segments where Anna was with you.
Yes.
Right? How did you feel? Because for those of you who are not familiar, Leadville is different because you start at 3,000 meters and you never go below. You climb up to almost 4,000 meters, 3,800, and it really gets on you after a while. So how did it feel, that climb back?
Yeah, it was really difficult because just before the turnaround point, I'd actually taken the lead, so it was on a bit of a high, but then as soon as you hit that climb back up, kind of started to get really difficult again. And I think having Anna pace me once or twice, I tried to walk and she just wouldn't let me. So she really helped like motivate me the whole way up, and I think it was thanks to Anna that I think got to the top of Hope Pass, and then you go back down. I forgot the aid station on the
into Twin Lakes.
Yeah, into Twin Lakes.
Gorgeous place.
Yes. And I had a really good lead, or when I say really good lead, I think it was about 16 minutes or so, which I think that really helped and set me up for the rest of the race. But yeah, that climb up is really difficult.
A defining moment, as they say.
Yeah. And I think Leadville also having the out and back routes, because the whole, you're running out and every downhill on the way out, you know you're going to be going up there on the way back. So mentally it just stays with you, and you know you kind of got to go all the way back.
You know, they're Abriendo Camino. You'll be presenting it at the Corte Inglés at Castellana on tomorrow, the 21st.
Yes. Right? Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow, and then I'll also
Is it 6:30?
Yes, 6:30.
6:30.
So I'll be there
you
tomorrow.
Want to meet him personally?
Yeah. Hopefully see you there. So I'll be there. Signing my book, and then also obviously presenting it, and then I'll be at Transgran Canaria at the expo on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. I must double check, but I've got a book stand there, so I'll be there doing some signings as well, and then also doing a community run with Salomon on Thursday. I think it's at 12 o'clock, where I'll be testing out some shoes for the guys that join, so it's going to be a fun week.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming over here to Guadarrama.
Yeah, thank you.
And may you enjoy the race at Gran Canaria.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really beautiful place.